Welcome to Texas Lone Wolf channel, source for Red Pill Truth. I think you are all really going to love this. So, we are going to do a workplace revenge video. Okay, this is nowhere directed to any company that I work for. It's not directed toward them, okay? I'm reading somebody else's story. So I figured everybody can use a little bedtime story on workplace revenge. So let's get started, shall we? Revenge in the workplace. Oh my goodness. Let's get into it, shall we? Revenge in the workplace. And this is going to be very interesting. It's posted by Drunk Betty. All right. And several years ago, I had a job that I loved. I was fired. Made a name for myself as a force to be reckoned with. After a year or so, I got promoted to a new position. Excuse me, I just cleared my throat. And a new team that has been created around the talents of myself and several others. She was ecstatic and thrilled, couldn't even wait to get started. See, you work your butt off and you get promoted to a new position within a company. You know, they promote from within. You see what I'm saying? They rather promote you from within to rather than hiring an outside person who don't know doodly squat about the ropes of the company, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Alrighty. Unfortunately, around this time, the company had some financial problems that culminated in all the employees not getting a paycheck on time. Even worse, this happened before in much bigger scale. People were upset, fed up. Key personnel began quitting the company. It snowballed pretty quickly. As I said, it was probably the upper management problems that nobody never wants to talk about. Okay, so the financial issues were cleared up much faster this time around. The company began to recover. To fill the position of a director that left, M was hired to run the new team that I was on. M was the worst person I ever worked with. I'd written out all the things M had done to my team and I, but this became a novel that no sane person would even bother reading. I would just say the following. So, these here were the following that was said. It was very, very bad. It caused me to have a literal HF from stress and almost didn't make it. He would threaten the team, if you don't like it, go work for company X. And you have it so good here, it's not like you work for company X. Go ahead and quit. You just end up at company X like the rest of the losers. That's very condescending, very abusive, and very much unprofessional conduct right there. Anyone who is over a team that talks to an employee like this should be fired on the spot by someone above him or her. And this is what happens when you let power or authority go to your little brain. So, anyways, many former coworkers at the job did in fact end up at company X, where they were thriving, knowing that the other person was you know, in a worse place. They talked up to the management, and the company X reached out to recruit. And the person wrote this that I happily jumped ship, and it was finally free from M. So the financial troubles were at the first place happened again. This time it was catastrophic. M and every other person working there applied to company X knowing they were growing, had many positions open. She found out about M's application reviewed by accident. Talking to a person that struck up a friendship with, she was talking about her currently bad work relationship with her boss. So we swapped war stories. I mentioned his name, and he said he'd been interviewed to manage her team, and by all accounts, it was a shoe in to get it. So she panicked at this point because it's not like her in demeanor. See that M treating her the way he treated everyone. Wasn't going to let it stand for it. She worked in the same department but vastly on different teams. But I had to do something to save her from this incompetence as well as myself. That's pretty good. Thought of seeing her in the office would make me physically ill. Would have probably quit before the first day. So the novel, that the document that she wrote, she went to the meeting and discussed with the other would-be hiring managers and told them exactly what the former manager was like. There were tears flowing from everybody's face, offer corroborating evidence. Another employee of Company X they could verify the story with. They literally drove home how M used the idea of working for Company X as a threat. Anyways, the information made it up to the CTO. In a brief conversation later, M was officially blacklisted at Company X. They were less than a day of making him an offer when the CTO intervened and killed his chances dead. And the person that worked for Company X was actually, thriving at the Company X. She was at Company so. Now she thrived with the new one. And this here is what happens when you promote someone into management. They let the power go to their head to down talk any employee and make them feel less than a human being. You get blacklisted. TLDR, I work for a horrible person who could use employment at a rival company as a threat to keep us in line. After escaping his abuse, went to work for the rival company, found out the horrible person had interviewed and was about to be hired. So I told management everything happened and got him blacklisted. See, when you go out and document, and you document, and you document, and you document, and you document, so text file paste saves today. Drunk Betty wrote this. She was the original poster. M was one of those I work late because I'm not so important people, yet he had over 1,300 unread emails in his inbox. No one knew what he did while working so late. He certainly wasn't reading his email or being any kind of actual manager. So what he did to get blacklisted, he refused to listen to processes that were in place, demanded that they change them all. When they failed spectacularly, he threw everyone under the bus. He wouldn't let anyone do the work that was promoted to do, and tried to take minutes in all meetings instead of contributing, and would attend meetings with VPs agree or changes to work, new projects, leave the room and tell the VP is that, yeah, I'm not doing any of that. The team paid a price for not doing the work he never needed to done. Ideas were terrible. He insisted they comply, blamed us for failure. The team was demoralized. Any manager who takes zero responsibility for failure yet but want to blame it on the hourly person. This reminds me of a company I used to work for way back in time when and from 97 to 2004. All right. They come up with an idea. Everyone followed. Everybody else hourly's got thrown under the bus. In addition to all this, M had it out for me personally. He would change the work behind backs, promise clients I would do things and not tell, throw me under the bus when the client was upset over missed work, badmouth me to the rest of the team, belittle me in front of others, and more. It was hell. I would come home and most nights just cry because I had to. See, she was being verbally abused and abused psychologically, abused mentally, abused emotionally by this one manager or former manager that went to that other rival company that was thriving and got blacklisted. You cannot mistreat an employee and expect your business to thrive because it will not thrive and your turnover rate will be super duper high. The rest of the team had their challenges with M as well. They would often talk about struggles they were facing. One particular conversation over iMessage, important later, had a very talented coworker. T was saying he was about to walk out and quit because M mismanagement, knowing how much the team respected his work and how much we needed him. He talked him off the ledge and volunteered to talk to the HR rep on his behalf. The HR knew the struggle with him was starting to really affect my team. The HR wouldn't even do nothing. Talking to the HR was basically talking to a rock. It started to really affect the team. It's more important than my own trouble. Spoke to the top rep about it would be handled. It would never was handled. It was never handled. You just got a slap on the wrist. All right? Soon after, M demanded we meet. In the meeting, he yelled at, he verbally abused for dragging the rest of the team down. It was M's fault right here in this. According to the story, it was his fault. All right? He told the reason the conversation I had with T, and it was clear that he was egging T on and telling him to quit. And it was, that's verbal abuse. If it's up to him, I'd be fired and out of a cannon. He left any employee who works for a company that has a person who has got a power going to his head like a bolt of lightning should just walk off, really. You don't need no abuse like this. And here's something else. Never trust the HR. The HR is the scum of the earth, so to speak. Don't trust the HR. They're the devil's advocate. That might help you. Yeah, they'll help you not get paid. One thing struck me as odd. M stated he read a text exchange between T and I, alluded parts of a conversation that didn't happen, confused. I asked T if he shared with the comfort with M. He was appalled at the suggested adamant, denied or ever doing so. Then went back to the HR and asked if she somehow gotten the conversation from T and shared it with him. And she told me he lied. He told me point blank he was going to tell you he read the conversation to see what you would do. I advised him against it, but you know them. Do not trust the HR. They're not your friends. They're paid lawyers to protect the CEO against you, the common worker. So the last straw was the Tuesday. I waited till Friday. A day he taken off to have a long weekend. I brought in a apology cake for the team and quit. Everyone knew the issues that I was having with M, who was protected by friend VP who hired him on, and his other friend, the HR director, who weren't surprised, but were disgusted when I told him about this lie. I later learned the VP texted him in a panic when I resigned, and sincerely hoped it ruined his weekend trip to propose to his girlfriend. And not only that, she spent 10 months in this workplace that was toxic. Health was so compromised. She contracted a rogue virus that attacked the heart. By the time damage was discovered, my heart was operating at 20% capacity. Really, really stunk. So, anyways, now I'm going to say this. Anyone who protects a person who is a manager or someone over a team that likes to abuse people deserves to be named and shamed. Workplace morale suffers when employees and the teams are thrown under the bus. Please don't let that be you, okay? Now, take care of yourself. Don't let anyone stop you from achieving your happiness and peace. Anyways, I'm going to put this link to this Reddit story up here so you can see it for yourself. Peace.